So this is going to be our first official podcast.
Not last
I
week's.
am Sergeant Tucker, joined by...
Memosaurus, currently Michael Scott.
I'm Defeater.
Josiah.
Defeater.
In mischief.
So, we actually just wrapped up the last of what would be our plans for season. And the teams are now locked in their positions that they're in. We have the Drama Club, which is Josiah's team, in first place. We have the Oofus, led by Memosaurus, in second. My team, or Michael Scott.
Yeah,
yes.
Michael Scott right now.
Whatever. You'll always be Memosaurus to me, just like Caleb is always going to be Rhythm Panther.
Oh my gosh.
My team, the Dramatics Anonymous, took third.
Stole Josiah's
The posers.
team.
Stop it. Fourth place went to the Eliminators, who actually don't have a representative with them here today. And then fifth place is the Shooting Boys, which was actually really close. Yeah, I think it's like a 2-point difference between you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually impressed with how the standings went. Aside from Drama Club, everyone was actually fairly close to one another, at least in my opinions. But
Josiah's Drama Club just rolled everyone. It was great.
But I am definitely impressed with how everybody performed.
Everyone's gotten a lot better. Definitely, there's a lot of growth just in the level and sight generally.
That is the nature of tournaments.
Which was nice. So I'm honestly personally happy with taking third with the way that things kind of turned out. Considering how the lock-in is going to be, which we'll discuss here in a little bit, that's actually a decent place to be because I may just avoid Josiah's team altogether if someone wipes them out. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. Hopefully the Shooty Boys or the Oofus can take them out.
Yeah, now it's going to get interesting because we're doing the actual team randoms.
Yeah.
So I at least drafted my team with team random specifically in mind. Just tonight, we played one, and the matchup was freaking John Calkins Heavy versus Emily Heavy. And then Neat Commander versus, what was it, Nathan? Kyle.
Kyle Dana.
Yeah, so it just gets crazy, and it's not always very fair. But,
I will say the bracket was a little strange to build because I had to give different buys. So, for the end of the standings, Josiah's team obviously gets the first place buy. And then it'll be the second seed versus fifth seed, which will be the Oofus versus Dramatics Anonymous, or not Dramatics
Shooty
Anonymous, the
Boys.
Shooty Boys. And then it will be third seed, which is Dramatics Anonymous, versus the fourth seed, which is the Eliminators. And then whoever wins that match will just go straight into the finals, which is kind of awkward. And it felt like there was really no good way to build this bracket without a sixth team, unfortunately. And so
That's awkward.
it's definitely going to be a double Elim bracket.
yeah. What do you want to talk about next?
The player of the night in our opinions, and I actually want to go last. So,
All right.
Oh, well, aren't you special? I'll go first then.
I want to
So
see
let me
who
go
you guys-
around.
Yeah.
I want to call out Alicia, who was ironically here a second ago, but now is not here, so she's not going to hear any of the compliments. She scored 6.5K on Commander, dropped a double nuke on top of the Eliminators' faces, and overall has just improved from like a player that you can pick on to a player that you can't pick on. And I'm proud of her.
Josiah.
Mine goes to Isaac. Or Izzy.
I agree with that one too.
He dropped 3 nukes today.
What's your favorite player of the night, Eric?
Of the night, I don't really know.
Thank you. John, what's your favorite player of the night?
I was going to elaborate.
John, your laugh is so high.
Yeah, I thought you said
I think Alicia had a good night as well. Mason pulled it out in the in some of the, I think it was the random team random.
teams. Yeah.
In one of the team random games, he was heavy and he really pulled it out.
He scored 7.2K.
Yeah.
It's a heavy. Yeah.
Yeah.
carried his team.
Yeah, some interesting games tonight.
I'm going to give it to Morgan. Morgan was taking a giant poop on my team. He was heavy,
Oh, yeah, he was in
and
zone.
he was just killing it. It was ridiculous.
I'm actually going to give mine to Kyle.
Dana?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nelson.
He
What? No.
He has been improving steadily, and it was nice to see him kind of get raffled the first set he played with you guys against Josiah's team, and then come sub for me, and he still had a really positive, like, upbeat attitude, and he still gave it his all. And after the first game, when I was like, okay, what do we need to do differently, he was very just...
I'll do whatever.
Here's what I am willing to do. Here's what I think we should do, and we fixed the problem and we've been at it. So
That's what is nice about playing against my team. If you expect to lose, how do you get butt hurt?
yeah, exactly. We went in understanding that we probably wouldn't win, but
The ancient
we
warrior
were
code.
hoping we would. So what are your guys' final predictions? Who do you guys think are going to win the matches specifically, regardless of how close they are? So the first match being Shooty Boys versus the Oofus.
Well, I mean, if we're just going by standings, I think John's team is going to take first. The Oofus.
Okay.
But
all
yeah,
their-
go ahead.
All their players are able to play all of the roles, and so it's going to make it hard for a lot of other teams to really deal with that. Second place, I actually put Luke's team, the Shooty Boys, because I think that they also have that same trait where they can play whatever is available to them. Just gives them an edge, I guess. Third place is probably going to be my team, because most of our players can play the positions, but not great. Eric,
My foot is
I
wet.
told you to go to the bathroom.
We just had a water
Mike
spill.
actually pick that up?
What about fourth, Joe? Sorry.
Fourth place, I actually think that Joe's team is going to slot into. I do think that Bromley's team is going to take last, but the reason is just because, like, some of his players are new and some of his players are a little bit rusty, so they may have a little bit of trouble just, like, adapting to playing with different people on different weeks, because one of the problems with the seeded weeks is, like, you don't really have, like, that dedicated practice time with each other on, like, resupplies and such. So, like, if you get two people who have not played resupplies together, they might run into a situation where it's like, we can hit doubles, and then the me song starts playing, you're like, do 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 do
Stop, the song's already stuck in my head.
do 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 do. But Bromley's team, however, does have the ability to take first. Like, they have this weird, like, if they get the nut draw from the
Seth.
computer.
Switch that happens, and Zenless and Bromley just kind of go berserk.
It also depends on whether or not the computer has like an aneurysm and makes the teams completely flop, like
I mean,
completely one-sided.
Even Mason can be the determining factor in swinging that game in their favor, just with the amount of damage he can do on a 3-shot if he's given the right opportunities.
Joe's team is just a really big toss-up. The reason I slot them in fourth is because half their team are made up of subs.
It's
It's
true.
very true.
I subbed on his team.
The severed limbs team.
It's going to be important to make sure that you're swapping in players who are the same number from other teams, so you don't get any accidental edges.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So
However, if the randoms, like, if it was optimal for every game was like an optimal random, I do think that the Drama Club will take first. It's just because, like, in terms of player value, there was a lot more bang for the buck in terms of the draft. So it's like, it's really hard to come up with reasons why we would lose if we had an optimal, like, poll every game.
in essence, as I've jokingly been saying, as long as you can maintain something that can attack, rather than having to be like a medic like you were tonight.
If we have the nut draw every game, we will win.
Yeah.
Like,
You have the Michaela draw every game.
yeah, fucking so many Commander games.
I mean, she learned by the end of it.
Yeah, she had the magic touch for sure. It's just hard because, like, there's so many teams that have the ability to pop off, and there's so many players that are significantly stronger than other players, and if the random just like puts those two people against each other, right? So you have like a minus versus a positive, it just gets really, really hard.
It almost feels like this lock-in is going to be a battle of who can take the most when they get an advantage like that. Like, because there's almost no way that, even if we did it with like the chips, there would be no guaranteeable way that it would be even. And even if we slotted back into, you know, the one pick being the captain's plays this, the two pick plays this, the three pick plays this, there's still no way for it to be truly even. And so I feel it's just going to come down to which team makes the most of the advantages they get. And so,
Yeah, I think the actual draw will determine a lot. We'll probably walk away with our first, second, and third place teams being like, well, that could have gone a lot differently if we did the whole tournament a second time, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I think the standings are going to remain exactly as they are. And I think it all comes down to which players have the ability to take a role, either 3-shot or scout, and carry the team. We are playing in a tournament where we have A tiers playing in the same teams as D tiers, and just all kinds of new players coming in, players growing, players kind of falling out. I do think that Josiah's team has the most players who can take that and run with the ball. If you, Morgan, or Caleb gets a scout, which not all three of you can be a resupply, you're going to do pretty well in terms of damage. I mean, that's what Caleb thrives off of, is just going off on his own and just destroying the other team regardless of what his team is doing. I mean, all three of you have good enough game sense where you can make half the team kind of rise to the occasion in terms of communication, getting your resets down, and working together. After tonight, I still think you guys can take second if your team stays motivated the entire time, John. I mean, you guys have the same way. Noah is an extremely good A-tier player, and Sadie's definitely like almost there as well. If you three are communicating and getting the right roles, you'll be fine. The only difference is that Sadie's much more of a defensive player, whereas, well, I guess Morgan's a defensive player too. So you kind of have a
He was
similar
playing super
situation
aggressive
going.
tonight, though.
He would like take third and then just hold third, from what I saw.
He came
Played
down to
very
second floor
territorial.
and completely pushed us out down to first floor on multiple different occasions.
Well, good for him. I think he was on third like most of the game. Then Joe, your team, you all try really hard. You actually communicate and coordinate before the game, and I think that'll make you guys go far. I mean, you got Zane, who can just pop off and be like one of our fastest freaking players whenever he wants to. And Troy was playing a really mean heavy this last game we were fighting against him, and he just kept us all out. Then Bromley's team and my team.
Bromley's team is weird. They for some reason, they can go toe to toe with any team, but they just feel like they don't have that finishing move, you know? Like they went through all the work to build the guillotine. They sharpened the blade, they tied it up, and then they just missed the go button, you know? Like something just slipped their mind, and they were like,
couldn't
wait.
understand how to let go of the rope.
Yeah, they were just like, now what? Right? So
I think their team struggles in early game.
One of the things that I think is the problem is Bromley relies so heavily on Seth, whether it be on offense or defense, and unless Seth decides to flip the switch, he can't carry that much weight. Like, especially tonight, in the first game, Seth was trying to poke at us to make us have to come back a little bit, and Bromley was just screaming for Seth until he finally came back.
I think each of the teams have some pretty big downfalls. Mine being, in my opinion, one of the clearest ones. I have 3 players, and that's it, because 3 of them dropped out, and one of them transferred over halfway through. And so it's kind of my team. I feel our big thing is our coordination, and it's who am I going to get for this game? You know?
Right.
And it kind of feels like we can do really well. It's just going to come down to the roles that we get assigned and how quickly we adapt to one another's play styles, rather than just, oh, I've played with you all season, I know how you're going to do, I know I need to, either hold you by the hand and tell you when to go in, or they know when to go in, things like that. And it's just, I feel like that'll be a big crutch for us.
Your team's kind of the same as Bromley's, though. Like, when you guys click really hard. It's just the big edge that you guys have is that you guys have that finishing move where it's like you lift the axe and then you drop it kind of thing instead of just lifting up the axe.
Mixing metaphors.
So, it's execution. That's all.
Yeah, execution.
I think that it'll pretty much stay where the team standings are right now. However, I'm surprised that my team got where we are due to demotivation and negativity. Sometimes our team can get really demotivated mid-game.
Sometimes
Especially
they tilt so
mid-game.
hard they fall over.
Yeah, our team is very like we get tilted really
Passionate.
easy. Yes, we're really passionate. Then you could say it like that. But if we do poorly, we generally beat ourselves up instead of trying to figure out how to do better. I think if we can pull that off during the lock-in, then we should be fine. I think we can take at least second, maybe even first if we're lucky.
I think
But
you have two big advantages, Kyle and Trinity. I think both of them are way better than we all thought they'd be.
Kyle especially. I know how Trinity plays. Like, she's getting better. Towards the beginning of the season, she was still learning the rules, especially blind firing. She's definitely gotten way better now.
Oh, yeah.
But Kyle, like, I had heard about him playing Space Marines, but never really got into it. And then when he finally hopped on my team and he started playing, I think he got scout his first week, and literally, I think he scored like 7K first game back into Space Marines, and I was blown away. He's doing really good.
He's top scored a couple times. It's been rough.
Oh yeah.
So, you kind of have what I was initially going for, try and make a team without many weaknesses. If your worst players get smashed up against, like, Josiah or Joe's worst players, you're probably going to win the matchup.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
I'm coming after you, Josiah.
Something that I think a lot of us aren't taking into account is also the endurance factor. Most of our players haven't played a full tournament, like a full lock-in. Most of them have done the lock-in, but the idea of running, like if you're first or second playing that 18 games or so, just the sheer endurance factor that's going to come into it, especially for players that haven't played for a full lock-in before like that.
It's rough.
Sorry,
This is going to be actually a nice eye-opener for those who haven't that are trying to go to Mats.
Yeah.
Because
You got 3
Mats
days of
is
this.
literally going to, from what I'm hearing, go from about 6 in the morning till midnight every day for 3 days.
Ugh.
And it's
Sleep
going to be
at
a
laser
literal
tag.
just run through the tournament.
Why wouldn't they do 6 days? That's a story for another
It's-
time.
It's a couple of days long. I don't remember the exact amount of days.
That's
It's
when you
somewhere
just-
between 3 to 5.
That's when you get like a camper and you
But-
just park it in the parking lot, and you just get 6 hours of sleep in the parking lot. And you don't have to go to a hotel.
But so I think this will be
That's a good idea.
the player. Luke's debating not going to his dance all of a
Pitch
sudden.
tents.
Gives that phrase a whole different meaning. But I think this will be, considering this is only 7 hours, and they're not even going to be in the arena playing pretty much at all times. Some teams are going to just get to, sit, and then play.
The 15-minute games will be a drag.
Yeah. We're most of the
Especially
people
if-
here are not used to 15-minute games, just because
They're
our
not
members'
real.
night conflicts with customer games, so we have to keep them at the 10 minutes. So an extra 5 minutes can actually wear someone out like crazy.
Not only that,
As opposed to a life every 30 seconds, a medic has to. I'm too tired to do the math off the top of my head. It's
I mean, you're doing the math on top of your head.
yeah. How much more valuable a medic life is in a 15-minute game.
Well, and also, with Detroit, like with our arena in a 15-minute, it's not that terribly different in some instances because like
Most of our games
it's so,
elim anyway.
It's so brawly that we elim in about 8 minutes typically, but in Detroit especially, elims are so rare. Like I think in the 2 tournaments I've gone there, I've seen about 6 total eliminations.
It's basically just whoever can score the most.
It's just a farm fest, and your medic will typically die around the 12-minute mark, just because they should be that safe. But
I think you played a lot of medic, so I don't know. We were a team in East Coast where we were just getting plastered a lot, so we died a lot faster than we should have. But
One reason for that was especially the first day, we got like 2 hours of sleep before the tournament.
no excuses. We're just boosted.
There are some excuses.
there were some excuses.
Second day,
Luke
we were
taking
still
2
learning
steps
the
backwards
arena.
off the trail to get off of it.
No one ever talks about how I got bomb diffuser at that tournament.
You also
No,
got
I
sportsman
just got
though,
the
didn't you?
most penalties, and I didn't complain about it.
Yeah. Didn't you also get sportsman that
That's why I
tournament?
got sportsman.
Yeah. We were all shocked because you got dirty cheater, you got bomb diffuser, and you got sportsman in the
Ooh,
same
baby, a
tournament.
triple.
And we were all just kind of sitting there like, all right. All
Luke
right.
MVP confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, Isaac's the MVP right now if this continues. If Josiah's team wins out, Isaac has now won all 4 seasons. This is his spot to retire. 4 in a row. No one's ever going to take that from him.
I'm going to take
Like,
it from him right now.
Starting now.
Yeah.
I seem to not come in last, or I'll be last 4 in a row.
Ooh.
That will hurt me. That'll hurt me deep. Me and Pollux deep. 'Cause I've been with Pollux all 4 tournaments.
He had a chance this season, and he jumped ship because he thought things were going awful.
You guys just were not having good chemistry at all. Put it like
He was not getting along with me specifically, and I was trying my best, and he was just like, "Nope, I'm done," and it just kind of.
It's a perfect trade. My team just wanted to have an easy season, so we don't do team meetings. We're all going to wear hats as our team costumes. It's
Yeah.
great. We're a bit of a meme team.
Meme team, dream team.
I might have my entire team dress up in professional like suits and dresses
Talk to Pollux.
since we're part of the UFIS.
Talk to Pollux. That's what he does for work.
That would be cool. You guys should do
Just
that.
have everyone dress up.
You can also talk to Pollux about the joys of playing laser tag in a suit.
Sadie and Trinity have to wear heels.
Yeah, Josiah has to as well then. Sadie and him have got that bet going.
When I
I was gonna
win,
say, I've
I
seen
hope she
you-
feels ashamed.
I've seen you in stilettos, so
Yep.
you pull those off fairly well, surprisingly.
Well, thanks. Glad to know you look at my calves, Joe.
Oh yeah. Bro, we were doing a scavenger hunt. What did you want me to do?
Calves and ass.
For the teams, though, I think this is pretty much actually how I projected the season to end standings-wise. I think, like I said, the big thing going into the tournament now is just how the computer decides to generate itself. Because it could really make or break a team. Because if Josiah gets Commander versus someone who's not ready to play against Josiah Commander at all, he's just going to run with it. He's going to create such a lead.
According to MVP, I'm the 3rd worst heavy because I had a heavy against a...
Stats haven't gone up.
No, from the first week.
Oh,
Because I had a heavy against a Josiah Commander and a Caleb heavy.
yeah.
That doesn't sound fun.
So, like, I'm legitimately the 3rd
It's
worst
not
heavy.
showing the stats, but we did get Caleb down to 2 lives when the clock ran out. We almost had a game on you guys.
And I
Almost
feel like,
isn't good enough.
Yeah, you guys still have scores,
Yeah,
even though
we got to do the B
lost
team
by
thing.
shit.
Eliminate the heavy 2 minutes in, and then run with it.
I feel
Yeah.
And then get elimed in the same game.
like
We don't mention that.
Yeah. We don't
Talk
do
about
that.
the game that went
I'm
well.
never early nuking again out of fear that Joe will pop out from behind the wall.
No, you got a ballsy nuke like I do, where I just stand in the middle of your team, like, hey guys, I'm gonna reset you all while I'm
Escape
nuking.
from the Joe, man.
No, okay, so
that
tonight
was the craziest thing.
Joe canceled one of Luke's nukes, and it was pretty good.
Luke
There's
and
like
Nuke rhyme. It's
literally-
destiny.
Joe is in the middle of like 3 of them.
Joe
just
rhymes
like-
with no. It's destiny.
Walks over, tags Luke down while he's nuking. Boom.
It was stupid.
That was it.
There were literally 3 other people besides Luke around. One was even pointing at Joe and just didn't shoot him.
Yeah. they'd all been like pushed down, and I thought Joe was running down, and he just stood there, and none of my teammates shot him. And then I gave myself a penalty that lost us the
I
game.
ran down the second floor and I just hear, "Fuck you, Joe." And I was just like, yeah, pretty much that song. But I would say for each of the teams, I feel the big thing for the drama club is if Caleb gets put on something where he has to stay back, like a medic specifically, you guys are going to struggle, or even ammo, because he has such a tendency to fight that Morgan had to literally curse him out to get him to come back to resupply.
I'll put that on a doubtful note because those games, like, okay, so Caleb gets put on resupply. Okay, that means one of your medium to stronger players are probably on resupply, right?
Not always.
Aneurysms.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if you guys not draw against us, you guys are gonna win anyways. So it's not really a good argument. But like, Caleb Medic isn't bad. The thing is you have to play around him. Like, he's MVP Medic, so like he did stuff. I'm fine.
Second, and I've got one Medic game.
I mean, I think that you can only do that because we're playing with the A to D tier players. If we're all A tier players, he wouldn't be able to do that without getting punished for it.
Yeah, that's my point. Is he's grown into this mentality, and I can tell that he's an amazing player, and he's still growing tremendously. But he's playing down to the level of people that he's against, rather than playing at the level he's actually at, and so it's not ever really showing what he's like. And it can be kind of frustrating to watch because, yeah, he's got MVP Medic, but you guys all almost wiped at one point because of it, and it was...
We elim'd.
You did elim, but you all ended that with about 8 lives because of the fact that you were barely getting lives from your Medic.
I'm getting, like, vibes from Caleb right now. You ready? But Joe, did we win?
Yeah.
But did we win, Joe?
You did lose a match eventually, though.
So here's the thing. Caleb Medic works.
I would say the big thing for the Shooty Boys is definitely making sure that whatever they get is synergetic, rather than just like something that would cause them to collapse in terms of like a power struggle almost, or not working together. Because if it's like, let's say Luke and Logan together, they're going to synergize. But if it's one of their other combos, and I can't really think of one, like, good
like
example.
Alicia and Logan. That
Yeah,
would be...
they haven't played as much together, and so that combo won't synergize as well, and it could cause, like, a problem inside the infrastructure of the Shooty Boys, in my opinion. I would definitely say the Eliminators' problem is that the draft really kind of needs to go their way, because I feel their bottom 3 players are not bad, but they're rusty and fairly new. And so if they get like the power positions against one of the 5 of us around the table right now, it's just not going to be a good time for them. And
I mean, even as shown tonight, I was able to keep Anthony out as a scout that second game.
Yeah. And so,
He got in like twice.
Yeah. It's just going to come down to the draws, I think.
You
for
did
them.
so good.
Oh.
I would
You
say
did so good.
For my team, it's the consistency factor. There's not always the same players. I try to pick up the same people every single time, but it's difficult to always get the exact same people when you play against their captain.
Well, Joe, if you just want another trophy, just pick me and John up again. We'll be fine. And then get Isaac. He's the good luck
I
charm.
know, right?
I'm going to create Womp 2.0.
Anyhow,
Just
Wow.
pick Josiah first.
I would
No, I'm
definitely-
playing for Eric.
I would definitely say that the big thing with the Oofus is going to be
Positive.
infighting and toxicity.
It's
will
gonna
their
be
downfall.
if they lose the first match, the entire
They're
tournament's
done.
just gonna go
Yeah.
to shit.
And
It's not even physical endurance for the Oofus, it's mental endurance.
yeah, and they can
Yup.
definitely do it. Like, they've proven time and time again they have the ability to play on par with us. I'm just worried about their mental endurance. Like, you
On
were saying.
par?
I feel like they could definitely challenge some of us. Not like blow for blow, but I feel like they could actually give most of our teams a run for money.
I mean,
They are second place.
they win most of those.
Yeah. That's why I'm
So-
saying if they can stay at that higher level of play, at that higher mentality, they should be fine. But if they falter, I feel they're just going to go straight down the 5th, and it's going to be just a roller coaster from there. I would definitely say that's my honest opinions on how this is going to go.
My idea on how this is going to go I can't tell. It really depends on how the randoms go, and I can't predict that. I'm not a computer.
That doesn't sound like an idea.
Yeah.
Just theory.
Yeah.
It's
It's a game.
Well,
Uh,
we're at 35 minutes, and
Yeah.
we've currently been shooting the shit. So,
I'm going to say, any last thoughts?
We're like 2 of 4 topics in, so we're good at this.
We got all 3. We got the player of the night, season
Oh,
standings.
yeah.
I've been. My last thought is that Joe's a cunt.
Ha.
Now I can't get this monetized. Thanks.
Thanks.
Demonetized.
Can you cut that part?
Copy
I
strike.
don't want to edit this.
I don't want to.
This isn't the first try at the podcast where I go through and I cut things out because somebody cussed.
Can you replace my saying of the C word with demonetized?
I could.
Joe is demonetized. Joe is
Just gonna say the
demonetized.
C word forever. That's how it'll go.
All right, Joe's a
Copy
Caleb.
strike.
Yeah. Any final thoughts besides that one?
Yeah, my team has a new motto. I saw on a Facebook quote today. It says, "The way of the warrior is resolute acceptance of death." So I've been telling my team we've already lost to them. We have no hope of beating them. We may as well give over and surrender. This way, we have no fear of loss or death.
He's legitimately said this at the start of every one of our games,
That sounds like C9 when they went into the group of death at Worlds
and then came out.
and came out and made it to semis. And then, yeah.
Just don't play to
If
lose.
you've
And you
already
guys will be
died,
fine.
then you have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
Just got to bring my hustle muscle.
Anyhow.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
See you at the lobby.
Fuck you guys.